All right, hello and welcome to any tech geeks who are watching this with me. My name is Francisco, and I'm really excited to present to you my project that I've completed over the past month or so. Just a quick little background. I did an Iron Hack coding web development bootcamp about 3 years ago, and I completely loved it. But I kind of fell off from the coding train after a while. So in the past few months is when I've recently decided to pick up development. And now is instead of focusing on web development, I'm focusing more on blockchain development. So the technologies I've been using are Truffle, Web3, and React. And of course, I'm coding in both Solidity and JavaScript. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So a quick overview as to what my project is. I essentially wanted to create a sort of voting contract project where one can create an organization, and that organization, be it your HOA for your neighborhood, be it your work environment for your job, whatever that organization is, you can create a list of polls for that organization. And then once you have those polls, anybody who is part of the organization can come in and go ahead and submit their vote. The admin of the organization is allowed to administrate who owns an access token and who doesn't, essentially. And then they are the ones that create the polls, but that's about all the power that the admin has. So just a quick overview about the back end of my app. This, we can call it the voting contract. You have the voting contract here. And then when they go into the website, they're able to create a new instance of a voting contract. So let's say this is the HOA, excuse my poor handwriting. Here, this could be work, right? So this is a different voting contract instance. Then you have multiple that you can create, right? And then I have that's my one voting contract, which a user can create multiple instances of. And then I have my access token, right? And this access token is basically an NFT that is minted per voting contract, or rather per access token that's created. So you're gonna have like a stack of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and each access token is gonna be tied not only to a user but also to an instance. So this access token might be for the HOA, this access token might be for work, this access token might be for whatever else. This access token might also be for HOA, because the access token is what you give to a user who wants to access the organization itself. So an access token is both tied to a user and to and tied to a voting contract to an organization. But the access token is always going to be set on which organization it's tied to, but who owns the access token can be changed. So let's go ahead and demonstrate it. So let's jump into my app right here. I'll definitely be publishing this link for anybody to come in and check it out. So obviously you're prompted to connect your MetaMask at the beginning. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and just connect it with all of my accounts here. Cool. Now let's see. Let's make sure I'm in the right account. Cool. So now that I'm in the page, I can go ahead and start doing stuff, right? So if I try to go to my organizations, I don't have an access token just yet, so I gotta go ahead and create one. So let's create one for HOA. Now this is due to the way that I constructed it. The reason you do have to confirm 2 transactions in order to create your organization is the first transaction is going to create the voting contract instance, and the second confirmation is going to make you admin of that organization. The reason you have to do this, I won't go into super detail, but basically the access token, instead of using a technology such as IFPS to store all the token data, I'm just using the token URI to have the address of the voting contract it's tied to. And so because of that, I wasn't able to make it a one-step process. I do have to make this 2-step. And this is definitely an improvement I could make on this app in the future, where if I start using IPFS or IFPS, I'm not sure how it is, if I start using that technology and tying it to the token URI, I won't have to necessarily use this two-step process. So let's go ahead and confirm. So we'll confirm this first one. And then it's going to take a little while. Obviously, this button is disabled, so I can't do it again. This is disabled there as well. So I'm just gonna, we just gotta wait a little bit. So I'm probably gonna be fast forwarding a few sections of this video just because it does take a little while. This is on the Coven test network. So blockchain transactions, as you may know already, they do take a little bit of time to transact, to go through. So we're just gonna wait a little bit, and then once the organization is created, it's gonna take us automatically to that organization page. So let's sit back and wait. Awesome. So cool. So now I have my organization here, and we'll start with really simple things. So if we go to my accounts, obviously I have my Ether, but I can't really see that I have an access token. So I can actually add that token to wallet here. And then I'm gonna add that here. Cool. And now if we go back, we can see that this access token, I now have one access token, which is great. I wasn't able to figure out to delete or to omit this button when you already have the token. That could be a future improvement as well. And another thing is I am adding the token as an ERC20, whereas it should be an ERC721 token. So that's another improvement I could be making. Unfortunately, the MetaMask API isn't like supporting ERC721 just yet. At least that's what I read on the documentation. But once they do, I would definitely make sure it is an ERC721, because that is the protocol I'm using for the access token. So let's go ahead and create a new poll. Mow lawns to 3 inches, whatever, random shit. And then this is basically just a quick yes or no. But let's demonstrate if I wanted to create like other options, I can actually delete them by clicking on it right here. I can also delete the first one, so it doesn't just delete the last one, it deletes whichever one you click on. So let's go ahead and do yes or no. I'm gonna go ahead and submit that. Cool. And now we wait, because again, blockchain transactions, they take a little bit. Cool. So now we have this poll that we can vote on, but there's only one individual in this HOA, right? So it's kind of useless. So let's go ahead and add a couple of individuals. So what I can do is, because I'm admin of this organization, is I can click on edit HOA. Obviously I can change the name, whatever. I'm not going to do that just yet, but I can go ahead and approve an address. Now, obviously, the address field must not be empty, and you can't just approve any random thing. It has to be a valid address. So let's go ahead and paste these addresses I have here. So we're going to add that one right here. And while that transaction is processing, I'll go ahead and add this next one. Cool. So we'll just wait a couple seconds. You'll see the new tokens automatically pop up. There you go. Oh, that's nice. They both got transacted on the same block. So that's cool. So awesome. So we have these tokens, and each of these tokens corresponds to their owner and their role, right? So this token ID number 4 will always be the admin token, right? And this is my current address, 070, as you see up here. And then you have my other friends, the other parts of the HOA. So now that we have 3 voters, we can actually vote on something. So let's go ahead and click yes here. I'm going to click yes as the admin. For some reason, MetaMask doesn't want to pop up, so that's a little odd. I did have this popping up earlier. Cool. So let's go ahead and confirm. So that's gonna go ahead and vote on that. I'll wait a couple seconds, and you'll see the number here change from 3 to 2, which means that there's only 2 voters left to vote on this poll. Awesome. So now we can go to my other accounts and vote with them. So I think it's test with me. Awesome. That automatically takes them to their page. As you can see, I can't edit the poll either, but I can vote. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, insufficient funds. That's fine. I have another portion of this where I'm going to demonstrate the voting part, so that's not a big deal. That's an oversight on my part. I do apologize. Awesome. Cool. So now that we're in here, I'm back as admin of this HOA that I created. I can go ahead and delete the poll, but I cannot delete the poll if it's already been decided. And I think that's a really big point. Like if a poll has already been decided, why are you going to delete it? You know, that seems a little sketch. So I'll go ahead and delete it. Cool. And while I do that, I'll just show you something else. Here in the side of the token list, as you can see, you have a delete button, and you can also appoint them as admin. So what I'll do is I'm going to appoint this second. Okay, we have to backtrack. So now this poll has been deleted, but it shows you that the poll has been deleted because I think transparency is pretty important. And it also stops the admin from creating polls, you know, at random or at their leisure. I do want the admin to be intentional about the kinds of polls that they're creating. So I think by having this feature that it'll delete the poll for you, sure, but it's still going to show you that poll was deleted. I think that's an important feature just to make sure that the admin isn't creating polls out of nowhere. You know, they have to be really intentional about that. So let's go ahead and appoint this person as admin. And then really soon, I should actually be disabling every single button on here once I click this button. I didn't think about that literally until right now. So that's another future improvement I can make. But soon you'll see the page refresh once the transaction completes. And now I, as the original founder of this organization, no longer have admin access. But the person that does would be test with me too. Cool. And so now here I can go ahead and edit stuff, I can create and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have any cash or any Ethereum on this account, so I won't be able to transact. But I did create a sort of like boilerplate where we can go ahead and see the full realization of voting and deciding a vote and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and start with Mr. Krabs, who is admin of the Krusty Krab. Awesome. So we have a couple polls already done here. So I'll start with the Krabby Patties. And I want to show you guys a quick feature that I implemented. So I'm going to make a tie between magenta and green just so we can see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for magenta. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and see what happens once the transactions confirm. Awesome. So now, because there was a tie between magenta and green, now the options have been consolidated to just the two options that were most voted on. So, you know, I can go ahead and vote for green as, who am I? Nosferatu, I believe. And I'll make the winner green this time. So let's go. And now we just wait a couple moments. Once the block transacts, there we go. So now we have colored Krabby Patties, and the winner of colored Krabby Patties is green. Cool. So now that's visible for everybody across the board. Obviously, if I go to SpongeBob, he'll be able to see that as well. He'll be very disappointed because he voted for magenta, but such is life. Awesome. And again, you know, you can add token to wallet as before. And I do want to mention one last thing over here. Currently, clicked it by accident. Currently, each of my accounts only have one organization that they're a part of. So when they go to my organizations, they're going to have just that one. But what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and add SpongeBob to a new organization, and I'll now add him to. Oh, I can't. So in that case, what I'll do is I'm going to add this account to the Krusty Krab. Forgot I don't have any funds in the other accounts. Cool. So I'm going to add the test with me, I believe it's called. So we'll go ahead and add that individual. Cool. So now this individual over here, test with me, or test start all, I believe it is. Now when they go to their account, now they have two lists, or two items, right? Two organizations that they can go to. They can either go to the one that they created, or they can go to the Krusty Krab, the one that they're a part of. And now obviously voters left has increased from 4 to 5, but this one obviously stays decided because it was already decided prior to this individual coming to the organization. Cool. So just one last little thing I wanted to point out to y'all. I think this goes back to what I'm saying about the access token and how there's like a stack of access tokens and each one goes to a particular organization. So we have this token list. We have token 0, 1, 2, 3, and that was just by design of the way that I migrated these files. On the migration, I had just one organization with 3 or 4 different access tokens. But as you recall earlier, I created a new organization with new individuals inside of that organization. So they had token IDs 4, 5, and 6. But now when the new access token was generated for this address, that ID is 7, right? So each of these access tokens is part of that same stream of NFTs. It's just a matter of which one is connected to which. And this token ID will always be connected to, not necessarily to the owner rather, but to this organization. Because again, as I said earlier, I can appoint as admin. So when I appoint someone as admin, let's say I make this person admin, then the owner is going to switch with this one, right? So yeah, I think that's about it for my app. Obviously, there's a lot of improvements I could make. A small thing would be like to organize this poll list by those decided. I would maybe put like the ones that are already decided on a different little section that you could maybe click over here and it'll automatically open up. And I have like, I don't know if I have VS Code open, but I don't. But I have like a list of things that I want to improve on and make better for this app. That I necessarily will, I'm not sure. I think I might focus more on learning HardHat and learning Ethers.js to replace Truffle and Web3 respectively, just because I've heard that they're better technologies for what we're trying to do in this space. So that's me. I really hope you enjoyed this project. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be putting my LinkedIn in the description below, as well as a link to my GitHub and the deployed project. So you can go ahead and check out everything. This is on the Kovan test network. So if you need to use some Kovan, I'll also add a Kovan faucet in the description below. But yeah, I really hope you appreciated my app. I had a lot of fun making this, and I really look forward to more apps in the future because this blockchain world is just mad crazy. It's a lot of cool stuff going on, and I really want to be a part of it. So thank you again for coming along, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I just want to point out that I do recognize the inefficiency of creating a new smart contract instance every time that an individual wants to create an organization, just because instantiating a smart contract is fairly expensive. At the beginning, I thought maybe I should separate my interest, keep my smart contracts small. But after having conversations here in the blockchain space, I've realized that maybe it is feasible to actually encompass all the organizations and all the polls for each organization inside of one massive smart contract. So just food for thought. I mean, I like the way that my current architecture is set up, but I do realize the inefficiencies. So maybe having one smart contract that instantiates organizations inside of it, and each organization could still be tied to an NFT, would be another way of tackling this issue.